We're going to look at synthetic division. Synthetic division is basically a shortcut to long division. Synthetic division simplifies the long division process for dividing by a linear expression such as x minus a, where the leading coefficient is 1 and the degree is 1 of the divisor, what you're dividing by. To use synthetic division, you follow these steps. Write the coefficients, including the zeros, of the polynomial that you're dividing in standard form. Then omit all variables and exponents when you list those coefficients. For the divisor, what you're dividing by, in this case x minus a, reverse the sign on that a. So it's minus a right now, you would reverse that sign, make that a positive a or plus a. This allows you to add instead of subtract in the synthetic division process. So what you're doing is you're focusing on the root of that, which would be x equals a. It's much better to see it live in an example. X to the third minus 14x squared plus 51x minus 54. We're going to divide that by x plus 2 using synthetic division. Normally we jump to long division, but it is much shorter when you use synthetic division. So first step is to write the coefficients, including the zeros, of the polynomial in standard form. So we're going to list those coefficients. 1, negative 14, 51, and negative 54. We're going to reverse that sign on the plus 2. So make that a minus 2. Make a little box out here on the left side of those coefficients. Put that negative 2 in the box. Then you're going to draw a horizontal line with enough space to include another list of numbers under those coefficients. So draw that horizontal line. The next step is to bring down that first coefficient. So bring down that 1. And then from there, it's just multiplying and adding. So we're going to go back to the box and multiply negative 2 by 1, and that is negative 2. So again, take negative 2 times 1. That will be negative 2. Put that under that second coefficient of negative 14. And then you add negative 14 and negative 2. That is negative 16. Then multiply again. Go back to the box. Negative 2 times negative 16 is 32. Put that under the 51. And then add 51 and 32. That is going to be 83. It's just multiplying and adding from here on out. Go back to the box. You always go back to the box when you multiply. Negative 2 by 83. That is going to be negative 166. Put that under the next coefficient. And then you add negative 54 and negative 166. That would be negative 220. Now we have this list of numbers. What are we going to use that for? Well, this is actually the answer to the division. This negative 220, that is the remainder. Then you work backwards. This 83 would be the constant term. This negative 16 is the coefficient of x. And this 1 would be the coefficient of x squared. Once again, negative 220 is the remainder, 83 is the constant term, negative 16 is the coefficient of x, and 1 is the coefficient of x squared. So we then have x squared minus 16x plus 83 minus 220 over x plus 2. Much faster than going through the long division process. We're going to use synthetic division to divide x to the third minus 57x plus 56 by x minus 7. Just as with long division, look for any skipped terms or missing terms that you may have. If there are any, you have to fill in the zeros. So we're jumping from x to the third to negative 57x. We're missing an x squared term, so you have to fill in with the 0x squared. So now we have x to the third plus 0x squared minus 57x plus 56, still divided by x minus 7. Next, list the coefficients. We have coefficients of 1, 0, negative 57, and 56. So list those coefficients. Then go to the divisor, what you're dividing by, that x minus 7, change the sign on the minus 7, and put a positive 7 in the box. Make sure you draw your horizontal line with enough room to include another list of numbers under those coefficients. After that, bring down the first coefficient, bring that 1 down, and then you're just multiplying and adding. So after you bring that 1 down, go back to the box, multiply 7 by that 1. If you take 7 times 1, that is 7, put that under the next coefficient. And then you add 0 and 7, that is 7. Then go back to the box. Take 7 times 7, that is 49. And then add negative 57 and 49, that is negative 8. Go back to the box, multiply 7 by that negative 8, that's negative 56. And then add 56 and negative 56, that is going to be 0. Remember, those are the coefficients of the answer. 0 is the remainder, negative 8 is the constant term, 7 is the coefficient of x, and 1 is the coefficient of x squared. So we have x squared plus 7x minus 8 as the answer when we divide. Using synthetic division to divide x to the third minus 7x squared minus 7x plus 20 by x plus 4. Look for any skipped terms or missing terms. Count down the exponents. We have exponents of 3, 2, 1, and then the constant term. There are no missing terms there. So list the coefficients. Coefficients are 1, -7, and 20. List those coefficients. Go to the divisor. That plus 4, switch the sign on that because we're focused on the root. We're focused on x equals -4. And put a -4 in the box. Then draw a horizontal line with enough space to list another group of numbers. And then bring down that first coefficient. So bring down that 1. And then just multiply and add from there on out. Go back to the box. -4 times 1, that is -4. Put that under the next coefficient. And then add -7 and -4, that is -11. Go back to the box, multiply -4 by -11, that is +44. And then add -7 and 44, that is +37. Back to the box, multiply -4 by 37, that is -148. And then add 20 and -148, that will be -128. So again, these are the coefficients of the answer. -128 is the remainder. 37 is the constant term. -11 is the coefficient of x. And 1 would be the coefficient of x squared. So we'd have x squared minus 11x plus 37. That remainder is -128. So we'll write -128 over that x plus 4. We're dividing x to the third plus 27 by x plus 3 using synthetic division. Always look for skipped or missing terms, and there are a couple of them here. You're jumping from x to the third to the constant term of 27. So you're missing the x squared term. You're also missing the x term, so fill in with zeros. Now we're dividing x to the third plus 0x squared plus 0x plus 27 by x plus 3. List the coefficients, 1, 0, 0, and 27. Go to the divisor. That 3, change the sign. Make that a -3, and that goes in the box. Make the horizontal line, and then bring down that first coefficient. So when you bring down that 1, then you're just multiplying and adding. Go back to the box, multiply -3 by 1, that is -3. And then add 0 and -3, that is -3. Back to the box, multiply -3 by -3, that is +9. And then add 0 and 9, that is 9. Go back to the box, multiply -3 by 9, that is -27. And then add 27 and -27, that is 0. So there is no remainder. 9 is the constant term, -3 is the coefficient on the x, and 1 is the coefficient on the x squared. So the answer is x squared minus 3x plus 9. We're dividing x to the fourth minus 2x to the third plus x squared plus x minus 1 by x minus 1. Look for any skipped or missing terms by counting down the exponents. Exponents go 4, 3, 2, 1, and then the constant term. So there are no skipped or missing terms here. List the coefficients. Coefficients are 1, -2, 1, 1, and -1. So list the coefficients. Then go to what you're dividing by, the divisor, x minus 1. Switch the sign on that -1. Make it a +1, and that's what goes in the box. Make your horizontal line and bring down that first coefficient. So we're going to bring down that 1, and then go back to the box and just multiply and add from there on out. Multiply 1 by 1, that is 1. And then you're going to add -2 and 1, that will be -1. Back to the box, multiply 1 by -1, that is -1. And then you add 1 and -1, that is going to be 0. Back to the box, multiply 1 by 0, that is 0. And then add 1 and 0, that is 1. And again, back to the box, multiply 1 by 1, that is 1. And then finally add -1 and 1, that is 0. So there is no remainder. Remember, these are the coefficients of the answer. The remainder is 0. 1 is the constant term. 0 would be the coefficient on the x. -1 would be the coefficient on the x squared. And 1 would be the coefficient on the x to the third. So the answer is x to the third minus x squared plus 1. We skip that 0x. We don't need to write that because 0x is just 0. Again, x to the third minus x squared plus 1. So synthetic division is used when the coefficient of the divisor, what you're dividing by, is 1 and the degree is 1. Now, if the coefficient of the divisor, what you're dividing by, was something other than 1, it is possible to use synthetic division, but it's a pain, and it introduces fractions, and it turns into a mess. So you're much better off if the coefficient, in this case, of x was something other than 1, you're much better off just going to long division, doing it that way, rather than trying to muscle through synthetic division. So again, the answer is x to the third minus x squared plus 1. What is the missing value in the following synthetic division? So imagine the process of synthetic division going on here. What number would go inside that box? So think about multiplying and adding. To get that space right there, we would go back to the box and we would multiply -4 by -4, and that should be a positive 16 in the box when you multiply. 16 is the answer.